Forgot to start recording at the beginning of qualifying, but basically laps in progress. Practice was decent. Um, I'm expecting my cars to be reasonably fast again. First laps are in progress, so we're going to get the first indication of where our team stands. First time I've actually forgotten to start a recording in a while. Thomas is like a tenth quicker. Just kind of been in the mindset of just rushing through, which not really a good way to get anything done, but alright, we get edit in. For some reason, car 2 is still like got good pace. Yeah, it's looking bad for John's daughter. Good for Lola. Setting the timesheets on fire. Yeah, that's not even close. We're about to have the weather come and ruin this, so. Hey Gonzo, how you doing, man? And yeah, it's a new endurance run. I don't remember where I left the other one, but yeah, I'm unsure what to do. Most favorable time save probably comes out of Sarah Thomas's end. What is ZPR on VODs? Couldn't catch the lives. It's weird that it doesn't seem to be catching. My stream feed doesn't seem to be catching your messages for some reason. Let me... Yeah, I don't know how to like grab that address source. What it looks like. I'm on Opera. Which shouldn't matter. It should Inspect element. That ain't doing nothing. Yeah. The problem isn't, I can see in the chat itself. I can't, it's just not showing up on my OBS feed for some reason. And that is unusual for that to happen. Let's try that, and then I'll type in tester. Okay, that seemed to work. Yeah, I do. It's the first time it's happened. Weird. And wow. Oh. Yeah, it's a little buggy. Because they went ahead and like overhauled the overlay. Yeah, it's OBS they weren't showing him. When they don't show in the browser, I just refresh the page, and usually that fixes it. But when it's on OBS's, and like some of this stuff I programmed years ago, so like when it stops working, like I'm like, what did I do, and how do I fix it? The overhaul's a bummer for you. What don't you like about it? I'm surprised like my Streamlabs like follow source still works after all this time. I don't think they even like use the whatever source it was I used to like create that anymore. And naturally we didn't, well, Laura improved a little bit. Change the font size. Oh, yeah, they did change the theme. It's like all the scene source mixer transition control screen, and even the screen preview I have here is like was different, and the default theme was changed, and I had to change it so that it actually kind of looked like the older version again, but it still looks a little different. Like supposedly it's like a really good quality of life change, and once they work through all the glitches, it'll all be better eventually. Here, let me look that up for you quickly. It's like in settings, general. Yeah, if you go to dark, it will kind of look like it's supposed to. You might have to resize things a little bit, and then you just have to get used to the way it looks, basically. Faster tire changes are usually the way to go. I'm just thinking on strategy here. Temperature's on the warmer end, so going to soft is probably not going to be the worst thing in the world. Shoot. Oh, you haven't found the... For the app? Oh, when you're watching? Or OBS app. Yeah, in the OBS Studio, it's in general, settings, general, and then you can just change the theme to dark. What the feck was I doing? Oh God, what was the lap time? I have to actually look it up now. Yeah, I could probably count on running for 50 laps roundabout. I'll start there. Check it the next time you launch it. I assume at some point they'll probably patch it so like the browser source stuff like doesn't bug out. But I don't know if that even has anything to do with their new UI, because it does on the browser end sometimes. So like what I did was I just did what you would usually do in the browser, but you have to do it via the source, like force a refresh. And the question is, why is my car 2 always qualifying better? Oh yeah, the cam. Usually what I run into on that is if you forget to plug it in, you plug it in after the fact, you have to like cycle it. You have to deactivate and reactivate it or it just won't work. Because it's more times than I've can count, I've started to stream without plugging the camera in. I only actually like use my face cam for sports games. But if I'm playing like a role-playing game or an action game or something like that, I don't use the cam. But I still need to have it in because it's my microphone. But I like run into so many, like, I have to do so many things to like get the microphone sound level just right that at some point it might just make sense for me to actually buy a microphone. Just like have better audio. Now that I think about it, I am slightly worried I underfueled. Not Boisu, but Thomas. Yeah, we smashed sounds great for a mic cam. Yeah, I was streaming for the longest time with it really distorted. And my wife like finally pointed it out to me at some point. Basically, like there's like a whole convoluted series of steps I had to take to get rid of it. I had to turn like the slider down in OBS, and then I had to change the max volume down in Windows, and then even after all that, Windows wants to change the volume level itself sometimes. Because Windows knows how you want things set up, not how you actually configure them. Ah. And since we're doing a 6-hour race, I need to run it at 4x. Yeah, the way we crushed the Guildford race is I basically just saved up my battery and just burned. Windows is God, didn't you know? Oh yeah, it's so godly that every time they do a Windows update, I have to run SFC in the command panel with scan now to fix the corruptions that the updates cause. And I've gotten to realizing that I have to do it every time, because if you do enough updates without like cleaning it, like then your computer starts freezing randomly. Well, because Windows like can't set itself up so all the ones and zeros are like land in correctly. Yeah. So we don't panic yet because it's just early jockeying. The AI gets like 43% batteries and we start at 5. The trade-off is our battery harvest better. You don't know Boisu? He's a driver I normally don't look at, but in the endurance series, you need a lot of drivers. I can't remember if I found him after level 1 scout or not, but he starts at 3 stars, and I think, yeah, he caps at 4, just under what Laura peaks at. Yeah, I can actually show his statistics. Stable, secret affair. I think he's also a pay driver. So he actually has decent marketability for a pay driver too. Consistent, smooth, decent braking and cornering to start with. High adaptability. Fitness is on the low end, which, as you can see, that's a very specific problem I have with him. But considering that stat should level up a couple times, I think he should develop into a decent driver. Yeah, smoothness is good when you're running like the softest tire, because it allows you to run them a little bit longer. Alright, here we go. We are moving up in the world now. We're just going to pound the AI into submission with this battery now. Okay. Yeah. Laura actually starts pretty bad in braking and cornering, but All those stats get a little bit better over time. And she has the best smoothness and overtaking and like the whole, for like one of your early drivers. Concord makes me laugh with her princess stat. One day this will all be mine. Laura has her downsides, but in a playthrough where you're climbing the ladder, like she's a great starting driver. And she can hold her own in the higher leagues too eventually. But there are better drivers once they're at the top tier. Which isn't to knock her. In most playthroughs, she's like one of my first go-tos. And Concord is probably the only driver of these three I would consider keeping long-term. I think I've had her win F1 as well. But in most of my playthroughs, by the time I get there, she's aging out too. Yeah, statistically, she's going to actually end up capping great for the Endurance Series. Like she actually has some really good endurance uses that, like you can really flex her fitness stats in endurance, which in other leagues, like you don't get in the single seater. You don't get like her benefit. That you don't feel it there as much. Feels much more difficult. It's really not. It's different. You have to have like a little bit different mindset on things. The thing that absolutely cracks me up is that this ERS battery has given me a massive advantage over the AI, and the AI voted it in. I didn't even vote on it. They wanted this. Basically, I just charge it between 80 and 100% and then just burn it. And at least until you can harvest for fuel, like the AI basically always picks the middle of the road battery, and it's not the best battery. Well, the AI is usually pretty decent at tire strategy. It's just like in this series, And I just discovered this actually like at the bottom league that the ERS battery, like I never really when they've like forced down the league, which they almost always do within like the first 2 seasons. Like I never really found out how to like turn it into an advantage because I would always just try to use it for overtaking. I just didn't think like, hey, we should just harvest and burn as much of the battery as possible. And once I did that, like I figured out that the AI actually hands you a massive advantage when they vote that battery in. At least at the B level, they do. On A, I think they use it for speed and fuel harvesting. That's kind of the funny thing. Like if they hadn't voted that battery in, I'd probably be struggling right now, rather than like leading the championship like we are now. Just because my cars wouldn't be fast enough. They basically handed me just enough of an edge over the long run. Man, like the harvest, I think is like somewhere around 2% per lap, but I think over a whole charge, it's like a 20% advantage. The downside of my battery, at the start of the race, it starts at 5% charge. There's a middle of the road battery, and the harvest efficiency on the battery I have is like 90 something percent. And I think it's like 70 something for the middle of the road battery. And then there's one that has like, I don't know what the percentage is, like 50 or 40% or something like that. But that battery starts the race almost fully charged. So basically at the start of the race, they have 43% battery to utilize, and you have 5. So it's over the course of like the whole race that you basically end up like overtaking like the AI batteries and harvesting. Yeah, as you saw, they just like blitzed us for the lead like very early on. And we'll yo-yo a little bit, but in the long run, this battery actually should win out. And I actually realized like how broken it was because my second car won at Guildford, which shouldn't win. They shouldn't be winning at Guildford. For some reason, it qualifies better than my first car. I have better drivers in the first car, and the first car has better components, but for some reason that I can't figure out, it's just quicker. Except in race, then it kind of shifts. Yeah, and see, now we just have the outright lead. It's just ridiculous. Like, neither of these cars are performing well enough for that they should be anywhere near the lead right now. Beating A's, we're not beating A's. They're just... We're beating A's when they DNF, but A's are too fast. Like, even if we out battery them, they're just like 5 seconds quicker a lap. Like, we just can't match that pace over the long run. Although, if you wanted to beat A's for a laugh, all you would have to do is open up part component development and overtake the A series in development, which I think is possible to do with Politico. Yeah, 13th. It's 13th place because we're 13th in the race, but we're the fastest B car. It is this weird thing where they run simultaneously. And with the forum, we bring in Laura next. Yeah, and if you find 6-hour races too long, I think yeah, the cutoff it's like a 5-second per lap difference at the start. It might even be less than that, but I think it expands as you go because your components, like I believe it's the engine and the wings are spec'd. And then the AI just keeps developing those components. So it just grows. So, yeah, they probably should allow development of those components at some point. Or spec everything. Oh yeah, engine specs. Pit Boisu now for Laura. Soft and I think 50 laps is correct. It's at least close to correct. If anything, it might actually be too much. Let's downscale that. To like 45 laps. Yeah, we are allowed to develop brakes, gearbox, and suspension. And we're not allowed to develop these wings and that engine. But yeah, you can go, what is it? 2 hours and 4 hours as well. I usually just do the 6-hour race and run at like 4x speed, so I'm not like running the race all day or whatever. Yeah, Boisu's stamina is a little low, but it beats the heck out of Rico Romano, who you start with on a creative team. He has 71 stamina, 2.5 stars, but he never improves. He'll never get updated fitness. Alright. But yeah, generally the way that you should like strategize with this series is generally with drivers that have like middle of the road staminas, like John's daughter and Lola Marsh, just like drivers like around like the 80s, high 70s, mid 80s, medium tires. Even like low 90s, medium tires generally. And then if you have a driver like this who's got like low stamina, like that's like one of the few times like you start thinking about like slapping a soft tire on them to run them. And Kurt Jaeger is one of the drivers you start with. He has 99 stamina and runs down to about 20. So when you have drivers with stamina that high, that's like one of the few times you start thinking about your hardest tire and running long. I think the other thing is like the game screws with you. They screw with you because in the first season you can run, I think it's like 60% of the race with one driver. And then, unless you have Politico, which is the only real way to stop it, they will almost always pass a rule change to lower that threshold to 40%. So then you basically have to use every driver like generally twice at least. Unless you have like a massive stamina where you can have someone do a 2-hour stint, but usually that's not practical. Hey, Zerva's trying to run away. Now we're just going to show off the battery. They recover they recover stamina when they don't drive. Lola Marsh is actually, she starts at 78, so as you can see, she's gotten a little bit of an upgrade in stamina. But usually, if you run your driver all the way down, they won't have time to completely recover their stamina on the second driver's run. The only exception is like if you run someone with low stamina and then you follow it with someone with high stamina, then they might recharge. Like in between one driver. Thomas is still burning. But look, like she's 9 seconds ahead now. It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy how much time you gain. Yeah, I meant when I said it was more complex than F Series. Yeah. It's yeah, you have to be really good at planning ahead and calculating like your strategies. Like when you get to the end of the race, you have to calculate whether the driver can, one, make it to the end, and two, has time in hand to make it to the end, because if you drive them over like the max, then you start getting penalized. And I'm going to run slow now because we're pitting Sarah Thomas. Hang on. 40 laps. Okay. I overfueled Enrica. Which is fine. I almost always do the first time. Sometimes I'm never confident that I did the stop correctly. Because if you forget to do something, depending on how important it is, the game may or may not tell you. And it's not fun to find out that you forgot to do something while the stop is happening. That's actually one of the things I thought they should have considered doing as a quality of life thing. Is when you have the pit window up, like bring up a little box of like all the things that are going to be done to the car. So you have time when you're looking to see if you missed something. And they just pop up like everything they're going to do to the car before you actually come in. Because then when you come in, it's all up there. So if you're like, oh, I didn't switch driver, I didn't switch tire, and it's not there, you're like, oh, crap. And I've absolutely done it before. It sucks. I think Laura starts at 88, so I think she's even upgraded a little bit. John's daughter starts at 85 or 86. So they do go up a little bit. They do slowly go up over time. As long as your driver develops fitness. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of, yeah, going through the pit lane twice in a row. You're like, what am I doing? In an endurance race, it's like really bad because you lose like a minute. Because even like your most minor of things takes like 30 seconds, and then like you're stationary that entire time, and then there's like the time it takes to go through the pit lane. In the single, yeah, F-Series single-seater, literally takes 1 second to switch. You can refuel while they change them. Depends on the pit rules, but yeah. There do exist pit rules where they can work on, they can simultaneously fuel and change tires. But the rules can change. It's one of the great things about this game, actually. Yeah, and there's that A class just blowing by me. Yeah, assuming the rules allow it. I didn't want to like completely dismiss you as wrong, but I just wanted to point out that it is possible that you have to work on them all sequentially. Like those are the current pit rules here. Like you have to change the tires and then fuel and then fix parts. Whereas in like there's other rule sets where like you can do them all at the same time. And we're trailing now because the cars in front just simply haven't pitted yet. Dallas have just had a little bit more battery than us. And yeah, you're gonna see like Lola Marsha's smoothness is 7 and Enrica's is 20. So you're gonna watch Enrica end up with better softs than Lola Marsh. And for my next trick, I'll wear these tires slower. Yeah, the one I haven't played a whole lot of is the GT series, which I think is probably the most similar to NASCAR. Although maybe it's not a direct apples to apples comparison. Well, because NASCAR has 43 cars and GT only has 20. So that's like one of the first things that doesn't compare. I've played it as part of the challenge package in the DLC, where you have to like get the chairman, where you have to deal with having the chairman's son on your team, and it's just a hot mess. And he wants the best parts, and the other driver's better than him, and you still have to give the best parts to him. Actually, like the first race where the temperatures have been high enough to force me to actually back off on the tires rather than pushing them to keep them in temperature. And see, these guys are all going long, which, I mean, you have drivers with high stamina, you can do that. But for these, like Adams, Pinot, Dolatev, and Hu, like, I just question the end game because you can only drive 2 hours, 24 minutes, so they can't turn around and have them drive an hour and a half again, like later in the race. Like that, like if they're going to drive them again, that, and they probably will, they're going to have to put them on a soft tire. And it's not a good strategy for that type of driver. I mean, you can do it, but it's not really what they're suited for. And again, some of these teams voted that rule change in. Just boggles the minds. Yeah, we don't have the best car yet, but create a merit pay structure, exploit this battery, and soon we will. There's one thing I'm good at is spending the money after you get prizes above your pay grade. Oh yeah, I should turn that down now that the driver's not pushing. Hey, look at us in the front. Never would have thought that could happen. Yeah. You're asking the question about the driver's stamina regenerating. I can show it here. I don't think it's 1-for-1. I think they regenerate a little bit slower than the drivers lose it. But you can see it ticking up. Yeah, see, now the tire wear is almost completely even. In the Endurance League, if you can find 6 pay drivers, you're basically printing money. I don't think I know of 6 that I would use. John's daughter Laura, and I think Boisu is like the 3rd one I'm using. Leader drivers can become pay drivers on top of that. That's fun when that happens. I love when that, especially if you're signing a high marketability driver for the marketability trade-off versus a paid driver, and then they become a paid driver on top of that. And you're like, dang, son, I'm happy. Yeah, now we're basically equal. When Laura's tires are 5 laps older. That's just utterly ridiculous. And now I can just flex. Yeah, generally what I try to do in these races is just run everyone for about an hour. And there's usually enough room, like if a guy falls short, where you can have the other 2 pick up the slack. Usually. And we're about to go to John's daughter and Cuncorn, who was my weakest driver, but now she's got the same star rating as Martian Thomas. I don't hate this team. But if we were to reach the A series, I wouldn't necessarily field this team. Oh yeah, we're probably gonna end up needing to swap that suspension halfway into the race. Oh yeah, I usually do use the team name ZPR. ZPR-E for this series, ZPR Endurance. I think my last playthrough was just, let me just peek here. Save as. So it doesn't actually boot us out of the game. Rachel Williams, ZPR Inc. Chip Racing. I'm trying to remember. Z Racing is one of my career modes. Thor Endurance, which I guess I just kind of gave up on. I've deleted some of the saves too. But yeah, in the F1 games, I started using ZPR, so I just started using it for Motorsport Manager as well. It puts my name on the team logo in a way that is maybe more cool sounding than actually saying my name. Oh no, it's ZPR-E. And I've done like several career modes, so over like almost 1,200 hours in this game, I've lost count of like how many like saves I've done. ZRT is like Z Racing Team. Yeah, there actually is a ZRT team in this game as well, isn't there? Oh, that's why you were confused. Yeah. Fair enough. It's just a name. Yeah, we're gonna run a little over the hour with Laura, but I don't think there'll be any problems. But because she is overtime, we're gonna pit her first. Now we slow down to real time for this. I don't know how to influence form. Like, it's like the one remaining mystery of this game. I don't fully understand that. Maybe in another 1,000 hours I'll solve. Then we go to Cuncorn, bam. 43 laps. 40's the hour, yeah. I don't think I was wrong. I mean, what I do know about form is that the higher the form is, the better the driver tends to perform, the better they perform. I just don't understand what positively and negatively affects it. What I've learned in practice and mostly practice is that there's like kind of a right way and a wrong way to do practice, which I don't know, I find stupid because I'm going to practice the way I want to practice. I'm not going to practice the correct way necessarily if like the general things I figured out like correlate most to practice, like when you how is it, like you race trim on like a medium or hard tire and then you do qualifying trim on softs. But sometimes I'm trying to get a specific tire compound like leveled up along with the trim so the tires don't match what the game thinks you should be doing. And then with qualifying, like there tends to be a way that you're supposed to optimize qualifying, and then your form sometimes reacts to it and sometimes reacts to how well or bad you're doing in qualifying. And I guess how you order these drivers might have some influence, but I haven't really ever figured out a way to influence race form reliably. Just kind of is what it is. You think that's what it's a random factor? Yeah, you're probably right. Given if there was some way to reliably influence it, I probably would have figured it out by now. Crashes, yeah. Crashes are random. Although I think crash frequency is somewhat tied into the driver's focus rating. So like the lower that their focus rating is, the more likely they are to crash. So Concorn would be the most likely driver to crash my endurance vehicle. Just randomly. Like in a race-ending crash. Yeah, I've had drivers with the solid ranking that still crash it, which is like increases your focus and it's supposed to make it so you don't crash, and they still crash. Yeah, form feels like a pure random factor on a 10 base scale. Sometimes you do get a event where a driver is just permanently locked into one form for a specific period of time, or they're in 10 form for a specific period of time, like weeks. Then sometimes they get injured, and sometimes they get sick, and sometimes they just get mad at you. Yeah. Funny thing is, like, I actually used to restart races when I would have crashes. Because I'm very particular. I have like low patience, and I have like this set thing in my head sometimes where like things have to go a certain way. Like I've had to train myself to just deal with the crashes. It's like a random thing you have no control over, and that's like one of the points of playing like this game. Like some of my career modes from like years ago might have me just straight up restarting on a race crash. Yeah, if they crash, they crash. If they both crash, your race weekend's over early. Oftentimes when my game is unstable, I sometimes will do saves around the races, so I can get back to like the start of the race itself, like post qualifying or whatever. I used to deliberately do it like in earlier career modes to be able to restart the race if they did crash. I had two drivers crash and one lap between them. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I have had double crashes. One of the other things I think actually does influence likelihood of crashes is like the rules and like not directly, but essentially like how safe the cars are for the rules. Like if you have the cars going faster than the cars can I have a Twitch clip that could fit both crashes. Yeah. I get you. And now Cuncorn is wearing better because John's daughter's smoothness rating is actually lower than Cuncorn's. 16. That's basically anything 16 or above is basically the same. I think there might be very slight differences between like a 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, but not really. And I think it used to be that between each point there was a difference in tire wear. But that's one of the things they simplified in patches a while ago. Tridente, who the heck is that? I've never seen this guy. Or I've never paid attention when he's actually out there. I'm just thinking whether or not I want to put Boisu on softs or super softs. Or rather the soft or medium tire. I've kind of gotten used to trying to classify the tires the way F1 does, soft, medium, hard, regardless of what the compounds are. And this game, fun fact, came out in a little snippet of time. I think it was like the 2 or 3, it was somewhere between, it was like 2016, 17, and 18, I think, that featured ultra soft tires. So because they introduced them in 2016 when this game came out, they have them in the game. Oh yeah, I've been watching F1. Yeah, the ground effect cars. To which I say that they basically started changing the rules because of the porpoising being dangerous, but then they're like, let's change the rules in the way that benefits Mercedes the most. So like, I'm so happy that they just didn't suddenly turn into winners after all that BS. But aside from that, it's been kind of a boring season. Just like in this game, when someone wins 10 races and they're a boring winner, Max Verstappen has become the boring winner. Like, again. There are some nuances. Like, I've been following some of the mid-season rule changes on YouTube, but some of them, like, actively made non-Mercedes porpoising solutions illegal, which is what some of the outrage was about. Yeah. I think I think all in all, it's the rules they changed hurt Ferrari the most, which like they're struggling to like run with Mercedes now, and Red Bull's still winning. So I mean that makes sense. But my understanding is like the rules they changed hurt Ferrari the most. Yeah, there are like two camps of people. Like the people are a lot that are like, God, they're just so in favor of Mercedes, and then like the Mercedes fanboys. Well, yeah, the FIA screwed Lewis Hamilton out of the title record. Like Hamilton deserved to have 8 titles. It's like he only won 8 because he was in such a dominant car for so long. Like the only reason Michael Schumacher won 7. And I love Schumacher, but if they had done something about the dominant Ferraris earlier, he would have never won 7. And then they get mad. Oh, they're regulating against Mercedes. It's like it actually is in the interest of the sport to regulate away from the same team being ahead for too long. Even if it's like blatantly unfair. Like if the same team keeps winning every year, people stop watching. Like I'll say for my part, despite being a Ferrari fan back in the early 2000s, I stopped watching like in 2001 when it was just like the Ferrari show. Yeah. Actually, I think that F1 should be more like F2 and the cars should be more spec. So that driver skill matters a lot more. I think Damon Hill said like a few years ago, like just talking about how ridiculous like Mercedes' power advantage was. And then they talked about how like he was driving that little dominant Williams chassis in the mid '90s, and he was like, I mean, he was like, yeah, it was, but it's nothing like it is today. Like the advantage like Hill had with the '96 Williams, that was nothing like what the hybrid era Mercedes had over everyone else. Or even what the V8 era Red Bull had over the other teams in Vettel's dominant era. I actually do contend to a degree that Vettel's 4 titles were actually quite skill based. He had to actually fight off good teams to win those titles. And like Lewis Hamilton has maybe done it twice in his career. I'm not trying to say Hamilton's not a good driver, but like the record is just like how many championships you win with the modern cars, it doesn't correlate to skill as much anymore. And the thing of it is, I think like Once you win and the rules advantage you, what's stopping you? Good driver, best car, win-win. Yeah. I think that's probably going to happen with Red Bull here to an extent if they go on a run that Max Verstappen is never going to equal like the high of his first title because he's just going to have like such an easy time winning the subsequent ones. Yeah, like he'll dominate probably for like a certain amount of seasons, and then they'll decide enough is enough, and then there'll be like a new era again. And it's time for me to pick. Yeah, Sarah Thomas, 4 form again. Softs, 40 laps. Didn't want to make you lose focus in the game. Yeah. As you're noticing, I can change the pace at will to hold conversation. That's what makes this game, like, for me, a much better stream game than like a game where I have to actually like drive the tracks myself. Is that in this I can actually slow down or stop the game to have conversation. One of the cool things about it. If I want to lower the sound, I can pan out too. Should probably try that so I can finish this game in this century. Yeah, it's a good stream game. You can keep talking if you want. It doesn't bother me. I need to... I'm trying not to cut off Jan's daughter here and her on form like run here. I might need to fix the brakes too, but we'll see if we can get away without doing it. Tires, fuel, driver swap. Perfect. I love like on racing streams talking about F1. Never had anyone bring up NASCAR. I don't follow NASCAR, so I can listen to people talk about it. I don't know if I'd be able to offer any opinions. I watched NASCAR since I think like the 90s. I'm convinced NASCAR is designed the way it is to cause crashes. And I don't think anyone will... Yeah, like that Phoenix track. The oval one, you mean? They do run. Yeah, they do. They do run road tracks in NASCAR, but a lot of ovals in NASCAR. But I do think it's like somewhat unfair to say that they never do road track, or that it's just a circle, because they do have some road tracks. Unless things have changed since I started watching. I mean. Let's go. Let's go here, like with a medium level of engine sound. But yeah, on the ovals, you can't stop them from overtaking you if you're too slow. Because that's like one of the things that's actually difficult on these endurance tracks without ERS. Yeah, they do, I think, like a handful of road tracks, and then the rest are like different types of ovals. The one that's completely insane is Bristol. It's like a quarter of a mile long, and they pack 43 cars on it, and then they're like, what could possibly go wrong? The answer is everything. Everything can go wrong. Every damn thing. But yeah, if I could, yeah, a quarter of a mile, 43 cars in a quarter of a mile is, it's a disaster waiting to happen, is what it is. It's not if they crash, it's when they crash. Yeah, most of the tracks NASCAR runs, like they call it like the Coca-Cola 400 or the Daytona 500, and the number is such because the race is that many miles. But the Bristol 500 is not 500, the 500 because it's 500 miles, like 400, 500 because it's that many laps. And you go around the track in like 12 seconds. It's like one of the most ridiculous things like I've ever watched on TV, like as far as racing. It's like what the feck? Oh, and they pack them. They pack them in. Actually, let me just. Yeah, is it Bristol 500? Yeah, they ran a. It looks like they ran it back in April. Yeah, Food City Dirt Race at Bristol. NASCAR. It's just, it's nuts. I think like my favorite NASCAR races. This from like playing the game and like watching on TV. I like Pocono and the Brickyard race where they run at Indianapolis. think they call it like the Brickyard 400. It like the Pocono track is kind of triangular. It's kind of oval, kind of not. And Indianapolis is like its own. Like they're different ovals. At least there's some element of strategy in the ovals and in the cornering. Yeah, like the Pocono one's kind of like a triangular oval is the best way to describe it. And it's like a really long track. Like you go fast and you slow down and you go fast again. And then like Daytona's like the other extreme where it's like a really long track and you basically never stop. So like the entire race is just you trying to stay in like the draft of the lead cars. Always remember to turn left. And at Daytona, remember, don't lose the draft. If you lose the draft, it's over. Because at Daytona, you basically never slow down. Like, the slowest corner, I think you let off the accelerator just a little bit and curve at like 170 miles an hour. And then, like, the other corners can just be taken without even slowing down. It's just like, he's like, what is this abomination? I don't understand, you know? Now we're in a battle with Gobbert. But again, they're going to be doing short stints now. Because they basically have to. At this point, I think the strat is the compound and fuel load. Yeah. We're basically just fueling for an hour and then using the soft tire. And the only time I deviated was I put Boisu on the soft at the start. And these endurance races have safety cars, and if you have a safety car, things can get really chaotic. And actually, the way they do the safety cars in endurance, I don't think there's a way to allow the cars to get back on the lead lap. So safety cars can actually be unfair in the endurance series, because it is common for cars to be a lap down in, like, the back. Like, I think these guys are like 2 laps down. At least 1 down. So, like, you can end up in a situation where you have to get your lap back to get back into the race. When they come out, they definitely change your strategy just at the drop of a hat. Because they can change everything. Every dang thing that you thought you knew. Yeah. My water emptied out a while ago and it's caffeinated, so. So that's why I'm suddenly yawning now. The medium tire tends to give us the best balance. Like, if the hard could ever give you a 2-hour run, like, for the current, like, 40% rule, that would make that viable, but otherwise, yeah, it's just like this. Excuse me. I don't think we're ever going to make that 30 seconds up with the lead car. I think the gearbox is like the only thing that is performance driven on this track too. Yeah, we basically negated the pit stop distance. I may end up needing to change these brakes out too. Still a little early to tell, but God, just the yawnings just come over me so suddenly. My body's just like, why are you not flooding me with caffeine at 2 in the morning? Oh, we are eating into the distance. Nights. I'm kind of a night owl. Um, it's yeah, it's really strange because God, like during the days, I just tend to be useless, and then at night, my brain usually just on. So as a kid, you just get yelled at. Um, but I get yelled at by parents and at school because it's a 9 to 5 world you're in. I'm like, my brain doesn't work 9 to 5. 4 a.m. That's the Eastern time zone, right? Don't let it reach 100%. We'll be wasting battery. No. Then we go back to Laura, John's daughter. Okay. Let's swap Boisu. High school, I went to bed at 4 a.m. and skipped the first 2 periods, went for the second half of the day. Best grades in class nonetheless. I barely got through high school. And when you're struggling in high school, I would also recommend that you do not get a part-time job in fast food. They do not care that you're 16, 17 years old. They work you till 11 to midnight and they don't care. All right, we go to Lola. About 40 laps. High school is trash. I can't disagree. They have actually scientifically studied that they actually make high school kids wake up too early for how the average teenage brain is designed. Like they're supposed to be the ones that should go to school like at the time that elementary school kids go to school. Like they should be flip-flopped basically. Glorified legal daycare. That's basically what it's become. And my teachers are like, your high school grades will follow you your entire life. And to that, I present my college degree that I got mostly straight A's on, save for a couple of subjects, which this doesn't make any sense, but I got a C in basic wireless in my program, and an A in advanced wireless. And the reason is because basic wireless depended on group work, and one of the people that ended up in my group dropped out. He dropped out of the program. Enough said. Other than that, I think pretty much straight A's, except for maybe my general education classes. I had a couple of math classes. I aced those. I think it was general psychology and English I didn't ace. But you just need passing grades, and then like it's like you get your degree, you meet with the general education requirements, blah blah. Actually, I had a 2-year program and I did it in 3 because I was working part-time and I couldn't crunch the classes together and do a 2-year program. I needed to keep some of my, like, for my own sanity, like I needed to structure it so I had time to do basically the homework they give you in college in between classes, because I would work my part-time job and then I'd be too tired from my part-time job to do the frickin' homework. So I usually tried to have an hour blocked off during college to do my homework. It was a crazy system that just barely worked. Oh. Boom. You're an adult before they told you to be, basically. I actually went to college in my early to mid 20s. Which, one of the things that you learn in life that they don't tell you is that legally you're considered a minor until you're like 24, 25 years old. So, like all your financial aid stuff is dependent on your parents' finances until you reach that age. God, what was it? Yeah, it was like, I think it was 24 years old. It was my final year in the program. They didn't need my parents' financial data for financial aid anymore. Or their incomes. So they could just take my shitty retail job and be like, you're not making enough money, we'll give you aid. Oh, you're in Quebec. Your education, your secondary education is, let me click on one of these drivers, actually. We're just focused on a driver that ain't running anymore. You have free college education, right? Although free is not the right word. But it's like subsidized education, isn't it? What we essentially should have here. Free-ish. Like your tax dollars pay for it, right? And I know Canada doesn't work exactly the same as England, but I believe it's similar. Free-ish, but getting less free. Because the capitalists are making us think about it, right? Or rather, the late-stage capitalists. Ah, it's really expensive. Yeah. So your government's probably like, this is costing too much money now because of inflation. And like college deans and CEOs are kind of some of the trashiest billionaires you'll ever know in general, too. We have to raise tuition. Well, actually, you don't. You just want to. That and healthcare and infrastructure costs are through the roof. So less money in the state's budget for education. And you got, it gets into political debating, but there's like a lot of people that just, they're like, they don't like paying taxes. But like, the truth is, inflation is the way it is because like the richest few people that like run companies like have decided that their billions aren't enough, so the price of everything magically goes up. Because they want more billions. and trillions even. Yeah, and the debates can get like really political and emotionally charged on this kind of stuff, but the first quantitillionaire will watch me. I think Amazon is actually the first trillion-dollar company in existence. And if you ask me, like, no single company should have that much money. I think it's even debatable that any company should be worth over $1 billion. Because it's just, it's like Monopoly. After you've basically taken over the whole board, you can just charge $2,000 for Boardwalk just because you can. Because there's no competitors to like drive your prices down. More zeros. And people freak out when you attack the idea of capitalism. Capitalism does have its uses, but you kind of have to regulate it, because if you let it run on its own, don't you guys have antitrust? Yes, but we have government officials in power who don't enforce it. Or in certain cases, the president's Donald Trump and they only care when it's Facebook. Corruption, yeah. Like, do any of us think it's a good thing that Amazon has as much control over the online market as they do right now? Like, Amazon should be forced to break up through antitrust. What they're doing is just downright insidious. Like, they open storefronts and sell all these different products, and then they create the Amazon Essential line, undercut the product for less money, and then it makes it really difficult to compete with them. And of course, the end game is like if you drive them all out of business, you can then double the price on that Essential line, or triple, or whatever you want, because you're the only one selling now. And to be fair, like, I've fed into this a bit. I've bought Amazon Essential products before, but I've kind of stopped doing it. Like, they have an Amazon Essential line of batteries that's like half the price of all the other batteries that are on Amazon. But I just won't buy them because I don't want them in control of the battery industry. But they're basically so powerful that they can just conjure their own product lines into existence for almost anything you can think of. I'm sure they're selling at a loss on some of this stuff. And then they make it all back on Amazon Prime or whatever, or advertising or whatever. And I'm sure like their NFL like contracts are subsidizing a lot of what they do now. Getting like the Prime dollars or whatever. I don't know how they're actually making their money. To be honest. I just know that they're doing it. Yeah, we have some like bowls and plates that we bought from IKEA, and then we have a second set of like bowls and plates from Amazon Essentials. Don't ever buy them. Like the quality on them sucks. Is what I'll say. Like I'll probably end up replacing the Amazon silverware before I replace the IKEA. It's just weird how that works. That works out sometimes. Yeah, I think I should probably repair the brakes to be on the safe side. They have like their own line of like silverware and knives. What we should do like one of these days is like even after I'm done streaming, like I just go on Amazon. Like we just think of a line and we see if there's an Amazon Essential line for it. Because there might be. There probably is. I believe they own Roomba now too. So now they own and sell household accessories. And then you're just like, how did this ever happen? And man, it sure sucks if you bought a Roomba and didn't want Amazon to ever spy on you because now they own Roomba. And if you connect your Roomba to Wi-Fi or the internet, then they have your floor plans. Alexa, get fucked. Sorry for the language. It's fine. I clarify that my content is not for kids. I try not to swear, but the occasional bomb does, you know, it happens. Been a rite of passage from childhood for me, like just swearing. I thought it was appropriate. Yeah. I mean, like my parents would always be like, "Don't swear," and then 5 seconds later, they're swearing up a storm. I've over the years I've tried to unlearn it as a habit, but my level of success varies. We have a catalog of swears here in Quebec. Very hard not to. But yeah, like if we're in chat and someone like posts a swear word in chat, I don't have any compunctions about reading it. I like in my own like responses, I just try not to swear. We conjugate swears, we use it as nouns, verbs, adverbs. Or the old classic, stop fucking swearing. It's like the F word, but for multiple words, they all have different meanings. Alright, I may finish this in the next half hour or so. And now, Car 2 has repaired one component, and Car 1 has repaired components twice, and we're still going to be the top two. That is how ridiculously overpowered this specific type of hybrid battery is over the AI choice. Eat 90+% harvest efficiency. It's gonna be interesting to see what the driver's picture looks like. No. We're even if he doesn't pit, we're gonna make that up. I'm fairly confident we will be able to easily make that up. Let me check the data center. Conclusion. Switches to Concorn after 28 laps. Oh wait, no, hold on. Oh no, he's still there. He's still in. And then Dolatev comes in at 48. That's like an hour and a half in, I think. Where'd that happen? Dolatev. Yeah, it does. When they change, it shows me that, right? Or maybe it's just... So yeah, I can't actually tell, but if any one of those previous runs is his, one of these, I don't see how he's going to stay out there the whole time without running afoul of the 2-hour, 24-minute rule. Of course, I could always end up being wrong, but I think he is going to be forced to stop just because of time. Because with the way the rules are, you cannot have two medium tire stints that long, and I'm pretty sure he has I started Pinho. When did Van Clusian come in? Yeah, 29 to all drivers. Oh, it looks like it might be his first run. I might actually have to overtake him then. I was trying to figure it out. The answer is like maybe. Maybe it matters. Oh, you did see him earlier? Yeah, unless he had that super soft stint, which is the preceding stint, there's no way. From what I could see, there wouldn't be any way he could stay out there. Always definitely possible I could be missing something. Yeah, I do put these races on VOD. I played some games that had like copyrighted music in them, so now I have to like manually publish everything by default. But I try to get them uploaded like immediately afterwards, and if I forget, usually it's like by the next day or two they're up. And I eventually like upload all this stuff onto YouTube. I don't know if anyone actually really ends up watching it, but I just, for fun, I just upload all this stuff on YouTube. They let you, and until they say that I can't do it anymore, I'll probably do it. Yeah, he's pulled away from us again. YouTube is better for monetization. To be honest, I'll probably never be able to monetize Motorsport Manager because on YouTube, and actually, let me just have a quick look here. But it usually it does hit me for the Motorsport Manager music because the music is copyrighted. If we just, I think I have stuff uploaded to the middle of September for Motorsport Manager. Yeah, and yeah, here it is. Like what my most Sydney has it. My Dubai race doesn't. It really just depends on how much background music gets captured, whether it like pegs it or not. Oh, so the devs own the music for this game then? So it might just be patent trolls trying to falsely claim the music. Because then they can force ads and make the revenue off of it. That's usually what ends up happening. But sometimes the music rights holder and the video game developer are not the same entity. So for Motorsport Manager, I just assumed that was the case. But it's possible that it could be like a copyright troll. Music holder is probably the composer. Yeah. If they just lifted the strikes, it sounds like the composer probably doesn't care about their music being used in the context of this game, and someone else is just falsely trying to claim it. On YouTube, usually what happens if the claimant is false, like it eventually drops off of the channel. If they're just trying to steal the ad revenue or whatever. Because eventually YouTube just figures it out. But for me personally, I don't. Some of the Motorsport Manager background tracks are in other games. That could be why. And hey, Watch, how you doing, man? Yeah, Van Clusian Pit. I did see that. That's good for us. Gobbert going in on softs, super softs may not be as good. But she has to close 20 some seconds in under 30 minutes. But yeah, as I was saying, I don't ever expect to make a penny of money off of YouTube or through even my Twitch stream. I've been streaming pretty consistently for 6 years, and I haven't seen a penny for anything I do, so I just kind of accepted that I just have to do this for fun, for the most part. I've had people give me bits and subscribe, but Twitch has to make, I think, like $100 worth of revenue on the split to ever even cut you a check, and I don't think I'm anywhere near that. It's $50 now. So I don't even have that much because they've never and it's just indefinite, like as soon as you hit like $50 over like basically forever. I don't care that much. I know I'm like, the chances of me like getting famous on Twitch or YouTube are basically like nil unless like I develop a gaming skill set in like a popular category. But basically, like, for me, that would have to be like speed running. Or like playing a category on something like you're really good at. For example, I could Like I play poker a bit as a hobby. I could stream poker, and I like to think I'm quite good at it, but there would there would be some issues like security issues mostly for me, and like broadcasting, like playing cards, especially for real money online. And more specifically, I'd be worried that I would make the accounts I use a target for hacking. Like more of a target than they would otherwise be. Could hire dancers. Or what the one streamer, Am- is it Amaranth? That's her name? Like basically softcore porn. That channel just like that channel just popped up on my recommended channels the other day, and I just clicked in and I was like, holy shit! Like what the fuck is this? And I am sorry for emphasis now. She's the voice of a generation. Strange worlds. I was just reading through like her channel panel after. I was like, I am not watching this, but I'll. And like, for her chat rule, she's like, don't post porn, and I'm like, the irony, the irony. Twitch became this weird porn hub. Is this the same game as? There's the Motorsport Manager game on Android. Actually, I think there's like 2 or 3 of them. That this PC game is based on. It's like Motorsport Manager 2, and I think there's even a 3 on mobile. And I'm not big on mobile games, so it wasn't until this came out on PC that I got excited. I'm old school with games. I can never get into or stay into mobile games. Just a quirk of mine. Even though it seems like I should be into those things. Oh yeah, it's you can definitely tell like with the graphics and that this was originally a mobile game. Oh, someone ran wide. But I just think if I didn't have to fix these components, how far ahead I'd be. It's like nuts. Gasper. Just because we want to see a smoking car. Let me see. GT Manager. GT Manager is different. I just looked it up on Google, and it's a new racing manager game developed by the Tiny Digital Factory. I've never heard of it. But yeah, I can't even find the Metacritic page for it. It must be really niche. You say it was on Steam? And yeah, I watched Tiamat Marduk play, I think it was the mobile version of this way back in the day. The graphics are probably like slightly worse in it and different. I've programmed my brain, I think, to recognize the similarities more than the differences. Yay, the race leader's across. And Gasper gets through. You said it was on Steam? Rated higher than Motorsport Manager. That doesn't really mean anything because Motorsport Manager has been out for a very long time. But if it's reviewing well, it means it's at least fun. I just never heard of it. Which is not entirely true now because I just heard of it. I think it's developed by the same company because I think it said Sega. So they might have done a newer version of the game. Let me do a quick check here. GT. Huh. I wonder if it's based on the GT DLC of this game. Because I know Sega has dipped into the mobile market a little bit more exploitively. Like they've kind of like piecemeal the various pieces of this game out into the mobile market in multiple editions. Yeah, it's the GT series. There's a GT DLC to Motorsport Manager. So I'm wondering if it's at least partially based on that. Five-point difference here. 34-point difference here. Whee! ZPR endurance racing are awesome. Yes. I like to hear that. Overtake to 20, overtake to 20. Ah, not quite. Is there a way to see when a driver is going to decline? I got scammed by a cool free agent dude who started falling like a rock after signing at 29 years old. Feels bad, man. Was that driver's last name Alvarez? Because if you signed him, that also happened to me. It happened in my single-seater career mode. I think he was like 28 and then he turned 29. Yeah, Alvarez. I guess it is pre-programmed when they decline then. I was always curious about that. Hard answer, I would say, is no. But usually they will peak first, and then they'll get old, and then they'll just start falling. If he's single-seater only, I don't know if I'll even see him in this career mode. But I scrambled to get rid of him. Good game for the win. Thank you. Motorsport Manager in the complete bundle? No, you don't have to buy it. You can let me see. Okay, they do sell it in the bundle. You can buy the base game, you can buy the DLCs separately. Yeah, you can just you don't have to buy the whole pack. The base game is basically the single-seater F1 series, I believe. So GT and the endurance race series I'm doing now are not in there. Yeah, base is single-seater. I would also recommend against buying Motorsport Manager at this exact moment in time, unless you really, really want it. Because let me see if I can figure out. Steam Autumn Sale based on historical data is what I'm looking for. But sometime between now and I think it's like November, there will be a Steam Autumn Sale, and this game gets heavily discounted. You like GT series, don't like F1. So yeah, what you would have to do is you would have to buy the base game because you need the base game to play everything else. And then you could buy the GT series DLC, and then you would be able to race in the GT series. And for your specific needs, I'm thinking that's how you would do it. Yeah. It's like $20, maybe even less than that. Like, it goes on sale all the time. What cars are in the GT pack? I do have a GT save. So I can bring it up here in a little bit. Like right before I go, probably. Okay. I have to shuffle around the pit crew. And generally for a race I have to have crappier tire changers. Okay. I'm gonna have to sign a few more guys into the pit crew. I'm just kind of waiting for the right moment, for the right guys. I can renew, like, these guys. I wish this was easier to do, but it's not. Okay. Got that handled. No sponsorship. We don't have any sponsorship stuff to go through. Alrighty. I'm going to do 3 days of development. Those brakes are done. Ooh, we need gearbox. Gearbox, you say? Get in there. Steam has it at 37. Yeah. And then G2A was close to the sale level. Yeah, I just know that they sell it for a lot less. And that they will sell it for a lot less eventually. Okay, I have two new scouting reports, I think it is. There's nobody worth, like, going nuts over here, from what I can tell. Oh, hey! Maybe this guy down here. Fitness. Oh. Olivia. Wow. A little bit of a project, and I was curious about another project. The base game is like 8, but they still live off the DLCs. Yeah. Yeah, they are different. Each one's like a little different. GT is different, single seater is different, endurance is, yeah. And then I'm just kind of sitting here staring like an idiot. I think we got the data on Houghton back now. Oh, she's paranoid. But my mouth just hit the floor because 5-star potential. What the frick? That is someone. You got to deal with the bullshit there. we're not gonna like immediately sign her, but and she needs to fitness past like this level of a 5-star potential. Like, this isn't a problem. Like, she will gain fitness. Smoothness, a little bit slower. That'll be a problem at first. But yeah, I have Sarah Thomas, Lola Marsh, Concord, and Boisu. All their contracts are coming up at the end of the season. And Boysu, pay driver. Pay driver. So I have 3 pay drivers. Glorified spreadsheets, which I completely ignore most of the time. But yeah, there's a lot of data. But yeah, I'm just right now salivating at the idea of you know, making use of Amber Houghton here down the line. I'm going to have to probably sign her ahead of the next season, because a driver like this, especially with teams upgrading their scouting facilities, like someone will probably snag her up before the next season. But as long as we do it like right before off-season signing, we should be able to get away with it. There's data, but if you can't manage the races, the spreadsheet means nothing. Yeah, true. It's there for detail freaks, though. It's a game made for detail freaks. With the direction I'm going in development, I really don't want to see this happen. Alright. 2 teams are publicly against, and 1 is for, and 2 are undecided. So if there are 2 votes in the against pile, it should fail. As long as someone doesn't throw extra voting power in the for column. Which could happen. Okay, and we got an abstention. So we actually need 1 vote against. Equality-focused merit payments. We're on standard. Actually, I think I'm going to propose a rule that goes even more to the extreme of rewarding top teams more money. Blatantly in the hopes that it will benefit me, like, in the next couple of seasons. Unapologetically benefit me. Okay. The next race, gearbox and suspension. Cool, cool. We're about to get another suspension on top of this that's even better. But there's basically like 0 chance we'll actually be able to use it. It's just there for us to see. Ooh, ooh, ooh. 256 versus 216. And therein lies the rub. We can get to 250. But we're going to have to upgrade our facilities to get much beyond that. And currently our brakes, our best brakes, Or 208. So I could get an additional 30. I'm on the fence as to whether that's worth it. $30 probably is, and 20 for the gearbox probably isn't. So we'll develop it. And then we'll spend an eternity getting these things to work. Junpet. Zero consistency. Alright, and then we have... sorry, 4 days left. Okay. We have reached race day. Oh, it's Munich, the skill race. Although our components will probably have an influence on it. Munich is like the driver skill-based race. Driver skill does tend to matter here. At least I kind of noticed that it does. Anyway. We'll go ahead and turn off the recording at this point. We're at like 2 3/4 of an hour, which is ridiculous. I'll get to your question here in a second, but I'm just gonna pause or stop this recording at this point.